enlightening, inspirational, powerfully refining, and unapologetically controversial. Conversations with the Royal Empress. The entire world knows the secret of who you are. Now is the time to step into your queendom and become the Royal Empress that you're meant to be. One woman at a time. Conversations with the Royal Empress. Now Akila, she's the analytical Empress. Akima, she's the Empress that will challenge you. Now, straighten up your crown and be elevated through conversations. Conversations with the Royal Empress.
Welcome back to Conversations with the Royal Empress. This is Dr. Hakima, and joining me is my sister from another mother, my kindred spirit, and my co-host, the Royal Empress, Akila. Also joining us, you all, we have a very special guest, a very special co-host that will be joining us today, Tanita Fadyeyola. Hey, Tanita.
Hey.
Now, you all we've been trying to get Tanita on here for a while. This sister be making power moves, but you will soon know why, because this is a wonderful sister. I'm so charged. Can't y'all tell I'm charged that she on here? But I'm gonna give a short introduction of Tanita. You'll be able to look at her full bio on the site, as you've already seen. If you haven't, please check out the Royal Empress Conversations with the Royal Empress podcast page on Facebook to see the full bio. Tanita is a loving mother, wife, creator of Move, Dance, Live, a unique teaching method and lifestyle brand. She is also an engaging facilitator, one that inspires and motivates people to create positive shifts in their lives through movement, affirmations, dance, fitness, and self-love focused workshops and retreats. Hey, sis.
Hey.
I'm so glad to have you on here. Today's topic is creative positive shift with movement, intention, focus, forgiveness, gratitude, and other tools for choosing happiness. Ooh, that just sounds so happy. Makes me feel good.
Yes.
Tanita is like happiness in a bag.
That's it.
She is. She brings all, when she walked through the door, she bring it all in there with her.
She don't walk through the door. She dances. She glides in the room. She don't walk. She glides in the room. It's a dance move when she comes in the room.
Life is a dance, right? That's because life is a dance.
Oh, I love it.
So talk to us, Tanita, because I know that you actually have a workshop with the title of what we're doing today, the show that we're doing today. So how do we get to happiness?
Well, I think there's a lot of tools. Number one, there's a lot of tools to creating happiness for ourselves. And the first tool is realizing that we are the ones in charge of our own happiness and taking ownership of that. That's the first step, is taking ownership that we are in charge. We are the source of everything that happens to us, positive and negative. And sometimes we don't like to acknowledge that, because we don't like to acknowledge the one, but we don't really know one without the other. We don't know happiness without sadness. We don't know joy without sadness. We don't know those things until we feel one or the other. So yin and yang, or how we want to call it, black and white, or positive, negative, tools in order to shift our perspective on different things. We need tools for gratitude whenever we're feeling happy and we're excited about something, so that we can remember, and memory, so that we can remember the joy and the excitement, the celebration when we had those downtime, the frustrating time, and those disappointing times. So movement is another tool that we can use in order to shift our mood, shift our frequency, shift our perspective on things.
I agree. How do we use movement though? Because I already told you, you, as Hakima said, you just glide in the room. You don't walk in the room. You just, and even that whole little energy shift, just seeing somebody else move sometimes is uplifting for me, which is
Right.
that you could just watch somebody else, just looking at somebody else's joy, at least for me anyway. I think it just takes so little to make me happy anyway. So,
Well, Akila, number one, because I know you, you find joy in empowering people and inspiring people anyway. You hold space for a lot of sisters to really flex in their magic. And that is something that doesn't always happen. And so just the work that you do, you set a precedence for me to glide in the room. Because I know when I'm coming into a room filled with you and anybody that's with you, so I know Dr. Hakeem, I know if I'm coming with anybody with you, I'm about to be walking, I'm about to be dancing on water. It's going to be magical.
wow.
So that's one. So feeling connected and holding spaces for all of us to be, our magical selves is really important. Providing space, and that's what we do with movement. Movement is a way to create space for yourself, because sometimes you're going to be places where that's not happening. You could be in your car about to have road rage, and you could literally roll your shoulders back and move stick your heart, your chest out, that heart chakra out, and shift your whole mood. Instead of shooting a bird, you could roll your shoulders. That's movement. And that's how we can just simply shift perspective and shift mood and shift frequency just like that.
Oh, wait a minute. I got a lot of road rage. So this all I got to do, and I won't be ready to tell people to pull over. So what I got to do is stick my chest out. I'm feeling good already. I think I'm going to have to try that next time I tell somebody, pull your punk, over.
What you say? Just take a deep breath. Roll your shoulders back, stick your chest out. Remember you a goddess. And as you're rolling those shoulders, you will literally be shifting your movement, shifting your perspective. And that's just that's what I do. I hold space. And just through affirmations, movement, you can move anywhere in any way. And so what I try to do is help people see that they can move in any space. They don't have to be trained professional dancers to move. You don't have to be going to Zumba all the time or wherever it is. You can literally move your body and shift your energy anywhere you are.
First, I wish people could see you, because Tanita literally stood up and rolled her shoulders and stuck her chest out to demonstrate to us what she was talking about. But
yeah,
but you on live every morning. So if somebody wanted to see you roll your shoulders and stick the chest out, they could actually watch you live every morning.
Or they can just try it. That's a directive right there. Like literally, you did it without, I think Dr. Hakeem did it right away. We don't have to, we can visualize ourselves. We can visualize. So that's the other thing that I do is create visualization. Because sometimes I'll tell you to close your eyes and don't look at anything or anybody. Because we pass a lot of judgment about movement these days, but judgment on ourselves. We doubt, we have fear about movement, we have shame about it. Like, am I doing it right? We overthink it. And it's no right or wrong. It's just use this tool. And so, you can close your eyes and visualize yourself movement and move any way you want. I can give you a directive and say, roll your shoulders back and stick your chest out. Or I could say move freely, move however your body tells you to at this moment. And again, you can shift perspective there. And so that's what what I talk about and I deal with when I'm doing I call them movement shops. And those are, workshops where or soul work sessions, I like to call them, where we, focus on affirming ourselves, affirmations, affirming ourselves, and tools and strategies for shifting our frequency and changing how we think about ourselves. And then I incorporate movement because incorporating movement allows us to drop some of those barriers or limiting beliefs, or I call them chains that we hold on ourselves about ourselves, so that we can receive the message, we can receive the information.
I could bear witness to that. I had the pleasures of coming in your class, and I'm from a diggable planet. I'm cool. I'm cool like that. Right. I don't dance or boogie type of person. Like, I don't get on the dance floor. But I mean, you engage me because it's true. You do engage people, and you engage me and made me get out there on the dance floor and dance. And I was like, this is just something I don't do. Like, you are a master of engaging people, and I just want to bear witness to that. And I felt so, like, I'm the type of person that's hard on myself, and I place boundaries that they're invisible. I place them. No one placed the boundaries. I place them. And I just felt like when you engaged me, I was able to knock those barriers down and just be free. And so often we're afraid of being free. Like, we have this fear of being free, and it just made me feel free. Like, I'm actually doing something. I'm out of my comfort zone where I'm normally like to stay and don't like to leave, but you definitely got me out of my comfort zone.
Right. And we got to get out of that comfort zone, because the comfort zone is a space. The quietness and the stillness has its place, and then the movement has its place. We need both. We need both of those. We need our stillness, our prayer, our meditation, our quiet space, our zone where we're still. And then we need the zone where we're moving, stillness, movement. And that's how we level up. We know that we're about to level up, because the comfort zone, we come out of our comfort zone. We're now opening ourselves up to facing our fears. We're opening ourselves up to shifting our thoughts about things, and we're focusing. We're setting intention. We're giving things attention, and we are executing. We are getting things done, and we know when that's happening. Movement shows us that, because it gets a little difficult. It gets uncomfortable. It gets difficult, and whenever we do that, we can be grateful, because we know that we're about to level up. That's what that's what the discomfort is telling us. You're about to go through something. You're about to shift something for yourself. And that's why when we feel that discomfort coming, we feel that challenge coming, we should embrace it and be like, yes, because that's a sign. That's our body, our emotions, our spirit telling us we about to level up, whatever that level up is.
Now, y'all know I'm in my head singing, right? Y'all already know how I am. And I'm resisting words.
What song?
Level up.
Never that. Right. Straight up. It's the truth.
Oh, while you were talking, that song was playing in my head, Tanita. I was like, Lord, just stop, Akila. Don't do it, but.
Well, we know every time it's going to be about 4 or 5 songs.
They coming. But you know what? As we laugh about me and my songs, but it's a shift in energy for me too, though. And that's the thing, is that the songs pop in my head, because whatever somebody is talking about, it may remind me of something, but it takes me into a whole other space. And it could also alter maybe my response to whatever somebody is saying to me as well. So
absolutely. It's the energy to it, sure. And it's part of the recipe. Music and movement is part of the recipe I use. When I do my movement shots or have a session, I like to use music, because we can relate to music. It's kind of like a universal thing. Whether I'm working with whatever age group, young, older, male, female, music, shifts things as well as movement. And movement is music, and music is movement. So that makes sense that it shift things. That's what we talk about, creating shift for ourselves, creating our own, joy and happiness, and just taking ownership of how we feel and what we want to feel, and where we want to be.
I know some people struggle with affirmation sometimes, though. but not just struggling with the affirmation. I've had people who have mentioned, well, I do these affirmations all the time, but nothing's happening for me. I'm affirming, but nothing's changing. And you all may relate to this too, but it's like, if you don't understand that you have to actually buy into and believe the affirmation in order for the affirmation to actually make any kind of impact and transformation in your life. You can't just repeat something because you see it. So just because you say, I am all day, but if you really don't believe you are, you won't.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that's, so for me, that was a next step. We have to do the work, the soul work. I always say that in the guru world, in the esoteric world, we like to use the word journey a lot. Mm-hmm. And journey is another way of saying work. Journey just sounds great, right? When we say enjoy the journey, right? We mean enjoy the work, right? Because it's a requirement. Their work is a requirement at any level. You know, every time you get somewhere, you level up, right? As soon as you get there, it's not over. It's just another level of work now to do. And so you're going to be working. So since you're going to be doing it, why not enjoy it? You got to find those silver linings. You got to find that space of gratitude for every moment, the ups and the downs, because that is literally the work, the soul work that has to happen. So with affirmations, you can say it, but that's why I create the movements as well, because the movement helps us, the message and movement helps us internalize it. It's another tool for internalizing the affirmation, internalizing it. What does that really mean for you as an individual? And so you got, in my classes, you got 55 minutes or an hour and a half to do some self-discovery or do some soul work on what does that affirmation really mean for you. And that's what I do. I just kind of help you, I guide you through doing some of that soul work so that you can actually use the affirmation as opposed to just saying the affirmation. You can use it and develop your own whatever, your own work into that process. It's several things. We got to journal, we got to follow through, we got to track some things, we got to let go of some habits that aren't working for us, we got to add some in, we need to hold ourselves accountable. That's stuff we got to just keep doing. That ain't nothing new. It's, things that our ancestors have done, have been doing, and have been asking us to do. So I think that's what happens with affirmations. I think that happens with a lot of things. We're looking for this magic pill. And the reality is there is no replacement for the work. The magic is the passion and the chemistry and the love and the stuff that you put together and you mix together to do the work that you need to do. And so I think that's what happens when we talk about people not being able to use affirmations. It's like nothing works if you don't stir the pot.
I think too, we think affirmations, and you ask people how many times you say it, we wanted to work in 3 days. We want to work in 5 days. It's not realistic. It's because a lot of the self-hating behavior that we have, or statements that we said to ourselves, was said over a course of years. So you have to undo that damage, and that's not going to be overnight. So you're going to have to say an affirmation more than 3 days. I mean, we talked about you got to believe it, but we have to program ourselves. So we keep saying it over and over. We're reprogramming ourselves to something positive, and opposed to the times that we programmed ourselves for something negative over and over again. Like I'm not good at this, or I don't like this. And we say that in our minds a zillion times, but we don't question that. So I just think we're just not understanding the science behind the affirmation.
Sure. The science behind work, the science behind doing something religiously. We give religion a bad rap these days. We say, I'm not religious, I'm spiritual. Well, you can go about that. Because for me, somebody who can do something religiously. That's why we part of the process and part of the work of, going to church on a regular basis, going to the mosque on a regular basis, doing your prayers, chanting, meditation, whatever it is your thing, your routine thing is. In California, we call it yoga. I tell people it's like, whatever your practice is, that's it. It's called a practice. It's called religion because it's something that we do religiously. And that's what makes it's a working tool. That's what makes it a working tool. So we don't have to hate on religion or somebody that's being religious. If there's a mama out there that's going to church every single Sunday and praying for me, I'm going to ask them to pray for me. Praying, and they are praying, mama, I'm going to ask them to pray for me because they've been practicing it.
That's right.
You're going and you're practicing, you're going to the mosque and you're making, prayer, on a regular basis. I'm asking you to pray for me because you're in the practice of prayer. If you're going and you're working out on a regular, those are the people that you want to go work out with because they are practicing what they preach. That ain't nothing new. That's what religion is. That's what doing something religiously to me is. And so, it's always a work, a process that is required, a journeying. I call it. I say, if you want to shift how we talk about it, don't say I'm working, say I'm journeying. If you want to make it pretty, if you want to make it pretty, just change it up a little. But it's work. That's the work, and that's the living. You ain't working, you ain't journeying, you ain't living, you ain't alive. Like you're dead. That's what's happening, and it's really not that difficult. And that's not a judgment. That's just a perspective.
That's like me with the word busy.
Come on with it.
I don't like that word.
Me either.
And I tell people all the time, because they're like, oh, you're so busy. No, I'm productive.
Thank you.
Yes. And if I'm not being productive, then I'm unproductive. So, right. I mean, and that's just how I see it. And me and my songs, here we go. But I told somebody, Prince said it very easily. He said, he's like, it seems like I was busy doing something close to nothing.
Hey.
Different than the day before. So don't talk to me about being busy because you don't have to be doing anything to be busy.
You don't have to be doing any. That is one of the first things people say to me when they call me is when I pick up the phone, they'll say, "Are you busy?" And I'm like, so my new thing is instead of just saying no, girl, or no, do whatever, whoever it is. The first thing I say is I confront them on it. I say, I'm talking to you. I answer my phone and I'm talking to you.
Yep.
That's what I tell them. And they laugh. They say, I know, but I say, okay, but I'm talking to you, sis. So, for me, it's like, don't insult me with that. Are you busy? I answered my phone for you. I took out a moment. And if I didn't take out my moment and I didn't stop, it's because whatever I was doing, like you said, I'm being productive or I can't give you my undivided attention. So no, I'm not going to stop what I'm doing if I'm not able to give you my fullest attention, like I need to or want to as a human being, as a sister, then I'm not answering my phone. And then you let me know. You leave a text message or you leave whatever message you need to leave. Let me know what it is specifically. I can prioritize it and I can see you. So if I answer my phone, if I call you back, please, by all means, don't hurt me and say, are you busy? That's like, so yeah, that is one of those triggers for me, definitely over the years as I'm maturing and spiritually growing. I have compassion for folks who use the word because I'm sure I've done it at some point in my life.
All of us, yeah.
Yeah. But as I grow, I try to help others grow with me in that sense of, calling them out on it. Think about what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
When we talk about tools, I mean, I like to, I call them my toys. And even my children, my husband call them my toys, my crystals. Those are just tools that I just love. And depending on my mood or what mood I'm trying to get into or what behavior I'm trying to exemplify, I like to have that crystal. And I just sit there and just play with them and look at them and just focus on whatever behavior or thought that I want. I mean, what do you guys thoughts on? How do you use those?
Well, I'm a crystal lover as well. I love crystals. I use simple things, colors. That's, colors, numbers. Everything to me is a tool for us to use and shift our energy. Also, just we have to think about the emotional trauma or disruptions or whatever we want to call it, emotional disease that we are creating for ourselves that can manifest into physical things. So I awareness, acknowledging that there's a pain in my shoulder because I am carrying these heavy bags, and recognizing that I need to lighten this load. And why am I continuing to walk around with this heavy bag on my shoulder, knowing that it's causing me disease, it's causing me pain. And then what is that about? What is that about? Me not actually, stopping myself or actually just being open to pain. So I question that, and then I move through it. What's that about? Why am I carrying this extra baggage? Why won't I lighten my load? And then I look at how that is manifesting in my life in other ways. So I love the external, I call them external things that we need to use, the crystals, the movement, the what are colors, the elements, all those things, and then the internal stuff, the prayer, the thought, the awareness, the mindfulness that we need. We need both in order to continue to attune ourselves and heal ourselves and create more goodness and more create more space for ourselves to be better.
I'm a smell person.
Yes.
Yeah. It's the aromas that are going through the house that shift the mood as well for me. And so it's just that all of these things can be used together.
Yes, absolutely.
And it just makes it such a shift, because I will, if I'm sitting in my house and I find myself like, man, I'm not motivated, or if something is just not right, I'm like, let me go and put something in this diffuser.
Right.
And change just the aroma in the house. And it completely, huh?
I know I was saying like the aroma.
Oh. And it completely will change my mood.
Absolutely. Yeah, my essential oils I don't leave home without them. Y'all saw me, I had patchouli. I started before we started, right? I said, I'm sharing my patchouli virtually with you.
Yes.
Because it just creates a soothing, it soothes me in certain ways. I carry, different things. I also use those in my movement shots, just to create that, because that aroma, and that's another thing I do. Aroma touch is a certification that I have, where just healing hands, using oils in my hands. Touch is a very healing, good tool for shifting. Just touching and hugging my sisters, touching, giving them a gentle massage, giving myself a gentle massage. I love loving up on my sisters. I love, when I hug them, I give them a little extra in the back, especially if I feel a tight area, or they smell me and they're like, "Ooh, it smells good." I'm like, stay there a little longer and let me move pressure. Let me give you some pressure points to shift out of it. I love that. I love any moment I get to just, share a moment with my sisters to help them, just become aware of this touch, give a loving touch, a loving, just some kind of loving gesture. That's my happy space.
We sleep sometimes when we think about the church and old school laying on of hands. That's all we talk about.
Yes.
Just a laying on of hands.
Yeah.
And so we always knew something about that. We just got to lay hands on you.
Yeah.
And what does it do? It's healing. And what you're talking about, that whole touch thing. And it's nothing spooky.
Mm-mm.
It's nothing spooky. but it's real, and it is the touch is just. I find it's so funny. Even my son, when I'm fussing at him, he'll come and he'll rub my shoulder. Better mom,
Right.
and I'm laughing because I'm thinking, okay, you just trying to get over on me. You trying to.
Yeah.
But it matters, and you're right. That simple touch. I had a situation years ago, and I've talked about this probably before, where this lady said something to my son when he was like not even 3 years old yet at the store, and I'm standing there, and she said something to him, and when I realized she was talking to my child, I said, "Are you talking to him?" And she looked, and I swear, I'm like, everything was gone. I'm ready to go.
Right.
Right. And this lady walked past, and she touched my shoulder and just gently massaged it. And she says, energy shift immediately. It was an immediate shift. I don't know this woman from Adam, but it was as if instinctively she knew what to do.
Yeah.
And she said it, and she said, it's a tough day today. This is what's happening. And the whole scene was averted.
Right. Because we already know how they could have ended up.
It's going to be like that scene, you going to jail today.
You know what? You need to stop.
That touch is serious, though. That touch is serious, and we got to get back to that loving, gentle touch, because in our community and others too, but I'm talking about the one we know about, that we experience. We touch there has been trauma with the touch, and some of us have been touched in some very traumatic, unassuring, hurtful ways, and so we are afraid to touch each other. We don't want to be touched, so it can also be a trigger. And so I think getting back to that is a leveling up. It requires a leveling up. It requires an openness, and it requires a healing process, and for us to be open to a loving touch. And so I think it's really, really important for us, our children. Some of us have been whooped and beat down because, that old school parenting of, whooping all behinds, some of that whooping behind was no joke. And, my mom was raised in a foster home where they whooped them every day. They beat them with 2x4s and things like that. So my mom wasn't a touchy-feely person. She didn't hug us. She didn't, love up on us. And when I connected her hurtful touch with why she didn't hug up on us, I was able to forgive the fact that she wasn't very touchy-feely with us, and stop that cycle with my own children and myself. Touch myself and love up on myself and give myself a hug, and and also just hug up on my mom. When I see her, like, still, that little girl is still hurting, in her 60s from those horrible traumatic touches. And so, we got a lot of loving work to do, when it comes to our tools, the touching, the oils, the incense, the smell, the crystals, all those things, the movement.
I want to add one more to that, and that's you mentioned your mom. And I know my mom used to always make teas, herbal teas. So that's one thing we can throw in there. I mean, that's some movement, because you gotta move around that kitchen and boil that tea. You know what I'm saying? And it's one thing. You go to Keela house, she gonna offer you some tea. I'm telling you that right now. So now I'm spoiled. So when I go visit her, first thing I say is, I don't think I even give you the greetings, do I? I say, where my tea at? I done got spoiled, because she go give you some herbal tea. And that is definitely a mood shifter.
Exit.
You said what?
I said I was saying she expects it. I was saying you expect it too.
Yeah, because you started it. And then I'm always expecting a ginger shot or something, or And it's something, it's always uplifting me spiritually. I'm like, now see, when I came over here, I didn't experience the road rage. Then I had to walk through the door and the whole, I was shifted. The whole mood was shifted because she like, you want some tea? I got some tea for you.
That love. That's our
That's right.
us, you know, with that tea, with those. Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm a tea drinker too. I got a little section. In fact, if I don't up that tea section, people I notice they'll come over and they'll be looking for a particular kind. I'm like, ooh, I keep it, you know, keep it charged up. So yeah, the teas, our food, you know, all of the drinks, our food, everything around us into that. And so yeah, that's setting that intention to always be, you know, digging and finding more ways to love up on each other, to love up on ourselves, to shape shift. I do a lot of the other thing I do is a lot of gratitude time out. I take a gratitude time, especially if I'm stank. If stank is on me, I'm like, sit down and get this energy right now. And I literally will start, you know, super raw with something as simple as, I'm grateful I have eyelashes. And as light as my eyebrows are, I'm grateful for those. I'm grateful I can see. I'm grateful I got a tongue that can taste. I move it around my mouth. And then I'll just go all the way through my body, my whole body. And I tell you, it is such a shapeshifter. It just shifts so many things. And it just opens me up. Sometimes I take a gratitude, when I need a little bit more, I take a gratitude walk. And I just walk and look around me at all the things that are around me. We got to be intentional with that gratitude these days. Because it's so easy to be distracted. It's so easy to be complaining and blame and find all these things and to be on attack. It's just, you know, it's all of that stuff. And so how can we dig deeper? How can we dig deeper to shift the energy for ourselves, to create healthy spaces and healing spaces and wellness, continued wellness for ourselves? That's we got to be intentional about it.
Yeah, I think even starting to your point about gratitude, there's a gratitude meditation that I do, and I don't do it every day. And I started doing it, and when I would wake up in the morning, sometimes I'd still be half asleep. I wouldn't even get out of the bed, but I would just turn that meditation, it's a self-guided 7-minute morning gratitude meditation.
Yes.
And when I'm getting up, it asks you, you know, what are you grateful for?
Yes.
You know, what new experiences have you had that you're grateful for? What new people have come into your life that you are grateful for? What resources do you have that you are grateful for? And it's a reminder when I get up to start my day. Man, you know, because now you're actively thinking.
Yes.
You're meditating about what it is. And then you think about that new person that has come into your life that maybe you weren't even thinking about, but you're thinking about them. And so as we're talking about tools, but that is huge for me. And like I said, sometimes I feel like I fall off with doing it.
Yeah.
And then but if I get in that place, then I unlock that toolbox. And sometimes it's really about just having a toolbox. And so maybe you don't use them every day. Maybe you don't need them every day.
You don't need them. You don't have to.
But when you do, you need to know what tools actually work and how to pull yourself out of that funk and get that stank.
Get it all. It's true. And we don't have to beat up ourselves about not doing something every day. We don't have to do that. That's just another distraction. It keeps us from, that's that perfectionist mindset that, you know, it's gotta be, it keeps us from moving forward. And then it keeps us from focusing on the good stuff. Every little thing. We don't have to do big things. That's one of the movement affirmations I do is we don't have to do big things. All we have to do is little things that become big things. Right. And so we can just start. We don't have to beat ourselves up because we didn't do it every day. We get stuck on this, 30-day challenge, 15-day challenge or whatever. And it's something to be said about consistency and doing something, like I said, practicing religiously, working on being consistent. And then there's doing it, just making sure we get it in. And when you don't do it, go back to doing it. There's no rule that says if you didn't do it for 15 days, you can't do it again for 5. We just have to honor and love upon ourselves a lot more, hold space for ourselves a lot more, hold ourselves with compassion a lot more, so that we can be better. We can be our beautiful, magical selves. And we don't have to do that. So yeah, I agree that have that toolbox. I'm all about the toolbox.
Well, I think it's time for my challenges. Y'all ready? Y'all ready for my challenges? Well, my first challenge is be in charge of your own happiness. Ain't that what you said, sis? You said be in charge of your own happiness. You got to take responsibility. You can't blame everything on everyone else. You have to decide that I'm going to take charge of my own happiness, and it starts with me. Challenge number 2, don't be afraid to get out of your comfort zone. And I'm speaking from my own experience. I do not like to get out of my comfort zone, but I have to. I had to be challenged to get out of my comfort zone. So get out your comfort zone, people. Challenge number 3 is be committed to affirmations. It ain't going to happen just, okay, in 2 days, I'm just going to say the affirmations and my life is going to change for the better. No, you have to be consistent with that. You got to be committed with that. It's a journey, right, sis?
Right. It's to the process. Yeah.
Right. It's a process. And my last challenge is utilize those tools. And we talked about crystals. We talked about scents. We talked about teas. We talked about, most importantly, Tanita, that touch, that healing touch. So utilize those tools, everyone. Tanita, thank you so much for coming on, and we're gonna give you the last word. Go ahead and say what you say and tell them what you do. Do you, sis? That's all I'm gonna say.
All right. Well, I'm just, shout out, come and check me out. You can reach me at movedancelive.com. It's a method, it's a movement, it's a lifestyle, and just really, like I said, I help others, inspire and motivate them to use their tools, to step out of their comfort zone, to create a process for yourself. And that's what I do. Hold retreats. Got a retreat coming up in Ghana that I'm a self-love retreat in Ghana in October. I'm so excited about. I love going home. And then I do some local retreats. I'm going to be at the sunrise retreat with Sheila.
I'm going to be there.
Yes. I believe holistically in retreating and getting outside, doing the soul work that we need to do so that we can be better for ourselves and then be better for everybody else. And then lastly, I'm going to say, one of the things I didn't mention was, don't be afraid to fail. You're not failing. That situation is failing. Is try to fail at something, or have something fail for you every week. Because that fear of failing is what can cripple us. So I hold an actual failure journal just to be able to write down what I failed at, or what failed, should I say, and how I can make it better so it doesn't, that doesn't fail again. And that I'm worth the risk. We are worth it. We are worth using the tools. We are worth the compassion, the love, the movement, the crystals, and we are worth the investment on those things, those tools, in order to be better, to be more magical than we already are.
Wonderful. I think you need to tell them they need to get in touch with you. Tell them again. Tell them again.
And Move Dance Live.
That's right.
I'm on Instagram at Move Dance Live. I'm on, like I say, you can catch me on my website, movedancelive.com, or you can email me, info@movedancelive.com. I'm at Move Dance Live all day long. Move your body, dance with your spirit so you can live your best life.
Woo! Hey, Move, Dance, Live. I'm gonna be dreaming about that. Probably gonna be saying that in my sleep. Man, but I can't do too much moving though in my sleep. But I'm definitely gonna be saying it. I might get put out if I do all that moving. But I love it. I love it. Thank you so much, sis, for coming on. It is such a pleasure.
You both, I'm grateful. I love spending time with my sisters. I'm so happy to have this moment with you all. I'm so grateful for you all inviting me. I love you. And yeah, let's do it again.
Definitely. We definitely gonna do it. We're gonna hold you to that too, sis. Well, thank you, listening audience. You have always committed to Royal Empress, and we really appreciate you. We'll see you next week on Conversations with the Royal Empress.
Thanks for listening to another episode of Conversations with the Royal Empress. Tune in next week for another enlightening conversation. For more information on the Royal Empress, please visit the website royalempress.org. You can also follow the Royal Empress on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Conversations with the Royal Empress is a subsidiary of the Royal Empress organization. All rights reserved.